responsible for the content. Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Blackridge Asset Management is a separate and independent entity from Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. And now, Today with Denny, here's Denny Artachi.
Good morning. Another glorious day in South Florida. You know, I always love waking up with this kind of weather. It's just beautiful. What do you think, Evan?
It's gorgeous out, man.
Good,
We
right?
live for this stuff.
Yes, we do.
Right? People up north, especially in December, are really jealous.
Well, most of them are down here. Are you kidding me? It's taking longer and longer to get to the store.
Yeah.
I mean, they're thinking about building a wall around Florida to keep the Northeasterns away from here.
Right?
And so I have a very special guest today, Sgt Brian Bossio from the Stewart Police Department. I'm excited about that. But I think, do we have a caller already?
Yeah, you have a call already from Connecticut.
I think I might know who it is. Okay, you are on the air with Denny. Who's calling?
Good morning, Denny. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. Is this David?
This is David. Yes, congratulations, brother.
Hey, man, how you doing? I know that you had the COVID, and how's it been going? Are you fully recovered from that?
Yeah, I recovered from it. You know, what I'm doing now, I'm doing a lot of volunteering with the church, helping people out, feeding people and encouraging people to come out and get tested because it's so important nowadays because, you know, this thing is starting to double up with this variant stuff that's going, and if people are not careful out there, you know, I mean, people are literally going to start falling to pieces out here, and we're trying to get as many people to get the vaccine as possible.
Yeah, they're talking about the variant, so I don't know, man. I think some of these people want this virus to never go away. They must have stock in it, but are you
Oh, my goodness.
So,
hey, listen, I just want to say something to you, brother. You know, I've been listening to you, you know, even, you know, times when I don't call in, and I just want to say that I'm so proud to say to you, you're going to be shocked right now, to say to you that I'm a relative. I'm your cousin David Macho.
Oh, come on, cousin.
Yeah.
You talked to me last time, and you didn't tell me who you were?
No, I didn't want to spoil it. You know, I just wanted to go on and see what's going on. At first, I was trying to see if you could figure it out. You know, but it's been such a long time since we both heard each other that I couldn't quite figure out my voice to your voice.
I'm going to tell Mom, I'm going to see her today that you've been playing, you know, you didn't tell me who you were. You're going to be in trouble, man. She's going to want to talk to you.
How is she?
She's good. She's good. She's getting a little
80
squirrely.
years
She's 80
young.
years old.
80 years young. Oh, my God. God bless her. Let her know that I love her so much and that I support you 100%. And, you know, let me see if I'm going to take a trip maybe this year to Florida, and I'll go and stop by and see you guys.
You are certainly welcome, cuz. You either stay with her or stay with me. My God, I haven't seen you since we were kids. I mean,
last time we seen each other, we went to your sister's house with the late, great Theo Johnny, God bless his soul forever.
Yeah.
And we were in the back of his car, and we had such a great time, and you just started singing. And right there, that day, right there in my mind, I said to myself, what a good voice my cousin has. I didn't say that to you. And lo and behold, look at you, one of the greatest entertainers out there in Florida.
Well, you're like this master chef. Every time I see you cooking these things at these fancy places, that hat is like 3 feet tall, dude. What is it with those hats?
Yeah, the higher the hat, you know, the better the chef. You know, that's what they say.
The higher the hat? All right, well.
I'm going to let you get with your show. I'm going to listen on. But like I said, I'll call you off the air and let me plan something because I'm looking to going out there to Florida because, you know, we have family out there too, right?
I do, but listen, I want to go to New York and catch up with my family and cousins, if it's safe. Yeah. I don't know. They got all kinds of crazy things going on in New York.
Are you surprised?
No. With Cuomo running things and Blasio, I'm not surprised at all. So listen, thanks for calling. Oh, you got me. I'm going to get you back somehow. You called me playing possum.
But you know what? I love you so dearly, man. I miss
love
you.
You too,
I just want to give you a hug. Every time you jam, man, I tune in. You know, you're a rock star, brother.
I used to be. Now I'm an old man.
You still got it, though. I saw you the other day with that, what was that you were playing at? You weren't decided whether or not to use the Les Paul or something else that
That's
was
right.
there.
Yeah, I have a lot
Right.
of good problems. Lots of cool guitars.
Isn't that something?
But I'm going to
Congratulations
call
once
you
again.
later, and I got to get even with you for this, okay?
It's not an April Fool's joke.
It is April Fool's, right? This
Yes,
is
it
probably
is.
somebody else, not really my cousin. No, it is my cousin. Listen,
Yeah,
you,
it's
be,
macho.
you be well. I'm going to call you, and thanks for calling in. I love you, okay?
I love you more, brother. Thank you. And once again, congratulations. And everybody that are out there listening, man, continue to support him. He's a great guy, you know. He deals with great conversations. And, you know, call in and ask him questions just like I did. Always let him know who you are ahead of time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Have a blessed day, cuz, all right?
Take care, cuz. Bye-bye.
So listen, before we get going, I mean, I understood the donuts here, but the beef jerky that they made you eat, and they made you, Sgt Bossio, they made you drink oatmeal smoothie.
Oatmeal cinnamon smoothie.
What
and
the hell was that
Absolutely
like?
disgusting.
It was, right?
Absolutely disgusting.
Isn't
yeah.
there a law against poisoning law enforcement?
I'll look at the books and see it because it was really, really bad.
Do you see? You see, he's still laughing.
Yeah, Evan's
about
laughing.
It,
He's
right?
having a great
He
time
was
with it.
holding it back, telling you the ingredients.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome. But I'll tell you this. I just met you today.
Yeah?
I'm really excited to be here. But I want to party with your cousin. He sounds like a great guy.
He's something else.
Yeah.
And he's a chef now in I try to keep up with him. He puts up these dishes and everything, and
Yeah.
he's really turned his life around. Let me tell you,
Good.
we all grew up in New York. He stayed. We came to Florida, and New York, depending on where you are, it could have his great points and not so great points. But he's done very well. I'm very proud of him. He's a chef, and he's happy and positive. You know, law enforcement, I am pro law enforcement. I come from a family of law enforcement. I had 3 cousins. One of them was a lieutenant in narcotics in New York City, out of his mind. I think he retired, but he loved it. I mean, being an officer to him was like playing on a team with Jordan,
Yeah.
or being on the Yankees. He just loved it. And unfortunately, I also had a couple of uncles who got shot and killed for wearing the uniform. So even though I thought about being it, because I'm an ex-Army guy, I always said, man, at the back of my mind will always be, I might leave to do my job and not come home.
Sure, yeah.
And that's a reality that you have to deal with, isn't
It is. Oh, absolutely. Every day.
Every day.
And, you know, the job's not getting any easier. That's
No.
for sure. And, you know, being a police officer it's not most of the time when I get introduced to people,
yeah.
I'm introduced as, this is Brian, he's a cop. And it's true.
Do they
And
look funny
it's-
when
it's
they
part
say
of-
that?
It's part of your identity
Yeah.
when you're a police officer. You know, if you're a carpenter or you're a computer guy, no one knows what you do when you get introduced to people at a party, but it always comes out what I do for work because
Sure.
this profession becomes a part of your identity. And I love this job. I love law enforcement.
Did you always know you wanted to be?
I did, and it's funny because when I was in high school, I had a little wild streak. I'm not going to lie to you. No real felonies.
Didn't we
but-
all?
Yeah. Yes. So, but what happened was Cops. The show Cops came out.
Oh, really?
And I started watching Cops, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Right.
And when I was in college, I started taking some criminal justice classes. And before you knew it, I decided that's what I wanted to do. And I always thought about it in the back of my mind. And, you know, everyone has their different reasons why they wanted to get in law enforcement. You know, I want to help the community and all that good stuff. But I don't like bullies. I never did like bullies. I don't like people being victimized by
Sure.
bullies, by bad
Yeah.
people. And this is a great profession to get in if you know you want to. We can do everything that we can do to prevent from people from being victimized and you know and investigate and arrest people who do commit crimes. So there's so much about this job I love. There really is, and it's not just about getting bad guys. I am the sergeant of the community relations unit of the agency. I have the best job in the whole department. I'll tell anybody that. I get to do all this community outreach stuff and all the programs and active shooter civilian programs and kids programs. I go on the radio a lot. I'm the public information officer for the agency. So basically, I love my job. I still love going out there and doing police work as well.
Yeah,
I still love doing that. It's just I started doing this in 1997, and in Massachusetts, if you couldn't tell by the accent.
Yeah, I mean, being in South Florida, they definitely know you're not from Alabama when you start speaking.
No. And that's the one caveat I wanted
Pull the
to add.
car over now.
I do want to hang out with your cousin.
Yeah?
But is he a Yankee fan? That I have a problem with.
He is a Yankee fan. I'm a Mets fan.
Okay, good. So we can hang. Good. Okay.
So you want to talk about the '86 World Series?
No, I don't. And you want to hear something funny? Before I got hired with the department, I drove limousines for my sister-in-law. She owned a limousine company locally. And I drove Mookie Wilson. I picked him up.
Oh, no way.
He had the contract with the New York Mets. So I was picking up players, and I took them to, and there was a pitcher. He was a relief pitcher, and I took them down to the Breakers to a fundraiser. And, he got in the car, and I said, boy, I've waited a long time to get you in this car. And he's like, from my accent, he's like, oh, dear, here we go. But, him and it was funny. What a nice guy, and
he seemed like he was a nice guy. Yeah,
we're best friends. They said they talked almost
poor
every day.
Buckner.
Yeah,
Jeez. I mean, I watched the game. I was in the Army serving overseas, and it was 3:00 in the morning or something, and I'm watching it like Keith Hernandez, who went into the dugout. It was like, I guess it's over.
Yeah,
and then that happened, and it was like, oh my God! So the Boston Red Sox fan said that curse is true. It's real.
There are two moments in my lifetime that I will never forget, sports-related heartbreak, and that's
got to be up there.
The Mets '86, and when the New England Patriots lost our perfect season. When we lost to the Giants.
Yes.
I literally not.
And I'm a Giants fan.
Oh dear. So. Those are the two moments in sports history, in my sports history, that I will never forget. And
we got a little bit lucky. I mean, look, that catch, come on.
Yeah.
But also, you know what? We had a defense that was on Brady all game long.
Yeah, you did
I have memories. My late dad, we watched both Super Bowls, and I was like, oh, my God, if we never do anything, we beat the GOAT twice.
Yeah.
Because Brady, come on. He's the greatest that's
all
ever
time.
played.
I'm still mad at him. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm not
talking to him.
You gotta be.
Yeah, no.
He goes to Tampa Bay and wins another Super Bowl ring.
And who leaves the Patriots? You know,
why would they let him leave?
That I don't know. But the thing that I compare it to is, growing up, there's several sports-related gods in Boston.
Yeah.
But the one that I can equate to Tom Brady would be Larry Bird. Larry Bird was the
man.
We used to. I watched every game. It was so great times. Would Larry Bird ever play for another team?
No.
He
Magic
wouldn't.
Johnson, same deal. Right.
And Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Still mad.
Right.
Still mad.
It's terrible to see the legacy and all you've done, and then you go play for somewhere else.
And I get it. I guess he wasn't happy and all that stuff.
It definitely wasn't the money. So we're never going to know maybe what the real reason is.
Yeah.
But my God, there you go. He goes. Now, obviously, he didn't just win by himself. Tampa's a really good team.
Sure.
But a real great leader like him takes the rest of the team to the next level.
He is amazing. As angry as I am with him, he is the greatest of all time, no doubt.
Speaking of angry, back in the law enforcement, think about it. You go in for the right reasons. You want to help. You want to serve, protect. These lunatics who want to defund the police, come to my neighborhood and see if you're going to defund anybody. I feel great because there's I live in Jupiter Heights. I have 3 deputies that live in my block.
Yeah.
Love it. And so, but it's got to be hard because let's face it, there's a lot of anger out there.
Oh, there is.
You're pulling someone over, or you're trying to do your job, and the first thing they want to do is bite your head off. Well, how do you deal with that?
Well, let me just say this, that I am very fortunate to be a law enforcement officer in Martin County.
Yes.
This is a wonderful, wonderful county, mostly all supportive of law enforcement.
Yes.
So, having said that, yes, you do run into these situations sometimes where people don't like you, period, based on the uniform you wear, and it doesn't matter what you do or say. That they're not going to like you, and they're going to resist as much as possible.
That's got to be hard to deal with on a daily basis. You're out there trying to do the right thing, and you deal. I mean, let's face it. People lie to you every day, and they're doing crazy, stupid things.
Yes, of course.
And so, you have to have, as law enforcement, you have to have either coaching or a psychologist to help you deal with it. Because I got to tell you, you may be the nicest guy in the world, but after a few months of that on a daily basis, it's got to put you in a bad mood.
It does. It does take its toll on you. After 9/11.
Yeah.
You remember the support for first responders.
Yes.
Police and fire
Yeah.
and EMTs and, the country really rallied behind the profession. And now how we've gotten to this point, and I know the men and women that I work with,
Yeah.
Day in and day out, do just what you say. They get up in the morning and they want to serve their community to the best of their ability. No ill intentions, no. And I'll tell you, you talk about bad cops. If there's bad cops, yes, there's bad cops.
Every
there's
profession.
bad radio show hosts. There's bad judges. There's bad lawyers. There's bad teachers. There's bad everything. Evan, you
right.
don't have to look at me like that. You're not one of them.
He did look at you a little bit, Evan. So
he
there might
did.
be some. So it's because of the oatmeal
I'm
smoothie
still
you made him
I'm
drink.
still tasting that.
I mean, that's just well, yeah,
There's bad everything.
Right. I'm a financial advisor and
Yeah.
planner, and I do my. You don't think I run into people that go, "Oh yeah, this last advisor
Of
burned me. They
course,
stole,
yeah,
from
sure.
me." So you're right. Every profession has good and bad. I gotta say, it's the minority. I mean,
I've done this job
Yeah.
a long time, and granted, I've worked for actually 3 different agencies. One was a volunteer basis, a long time ago. But I can honestly tell you that I've never run into a guy that's out there to do bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not out there; they are.
Sure.
But one thing I've learned throughout my career is myself and other officers that I've worked with, if there was a bad apple, we're going to be the first to get rid of that bad apple because we don't want to be associated with it.
Exactly.
The good cops don't want to be associated with them, and we're going to want them out just as much as anybody else.
That's got to be the reasoning for the body cams,
Oh,
right?
body cameras, when they first came out, and there's this big push for body cameras. And of course, 2 things that cops hate: the way things are and change. Okay? Think about that, but it's the truth. We don't like the way things are, and we don't like change.
Okay.
So anyways, we got the body cameras, and of course everyone's resistant, and here's another
Yeah.
thing we have to do. We have
Right.
to
Gotta watch
download
what I
them.
say.
Well, yes, but I will tell you this hands down, that body cameras benefit the officers 10 times more than anybody
I would
else.
have to say,
10 times
absolutely.
more. 10 times more. I mean, I've had people come in when I got promoted to sergeant, and I was road patrol shift commander, and I've had people, maybe one, not a lot, 2 or 3
Yeah.
people, come in to file a complaint about what the officer said and did on the traffic stop when they got their ticket. And I would say to them, okay, great, let's go back and sit and watch the body camera footage together to make sure that everything we're talking about is
Legit, right?
and you have what now? What do you have?
What-
well,
what-
we got the whole thing on.
Yeah, we have a-
yeah, and never mind.
Yeah, they
Turn
wanna
around.
drop- they wanna drop, yeah.
It has dramatically dropped the complaints, the frivolous complaints, dramatically, because and it also gets to show judges when you go to trial. This is what we're dealing with. The person that's sitting in the courtroom is polished and in a suit.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Okay, but this is what we dealt with.
Right.
This is what really happened. So body cameras, to me, I think are the greatest things. I think they're wonderful. They protect us. They protect
Yeah,
the public
absolutely.
too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying, but body cameras are wonderful, and I think that that every law enforcement officer, if they don't have body cameras, they should certainly want them, because
I would definitely want one, because again, I don't want someone to say this guy did this and I, there's no proof of it, because
Sure.
again, every day you've got to deal with this. I think we don't have anyone on the phone, do we? Okay, we're going to take a short break here and come back with Sgt Bossio. All right, we are back with Sgt Bossio. Hey, I have a question. Is Dennis Ashley still working in the Stewart Police
No,
Department?
actually,
he retired years ago,
He
right?
retired right before I got hired, which would be 10 years ago. But unfortunately, he passed away about, I want to say, 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh, wow. What happened?
Yeah, he had some health issues, and unfortunately, he passed. And what a nice,
What a great guy.
You know,
Everybody
just-
knew him.
just-
Listen, he would walk in. I've seen him because I play in bars, and, they'd call because somebody'd be getting rowdy. Dennis would show up, and all of a sudden, everybody would calm down.
Yeah,
he had that gift.
Yeah, he just a real gentle, nice, caring individual and wonderful officer. And
Yeah, he would
I didn't
just-
have the opportunity to work with
Yeah.
him, but I have heard so many things about him.
What a
How
great guy.
Yep.
His brother was a teacher at Martin County High, which I saw him then, and I used to poke fun at his brother too, Dennis. And he said, well, I'm not my brother. So Dennis would show up and say something like, okay, well, what's going on? I guess you're not having a good day today, huh? And people just be like, oh, nice and calm. So I do have a question. Man, this COVID thing must have been really tough in the last year,
Well,
especially when
yeah.
it first hit, right?
Yeah, when it first hit, we're just like everybody else. We don't know what this is all
Right.
about. We're like, what the
How
heck
do
are
you
we
pull
dealing
some-
with?
I know you're doing 90 miles an hour, sir, but because of COVID, I'm just going to go by,
Well,
right?
yeah. Well,
Don't
90 is
roll
a
down
bit
the
much,
window.
but yeah, no, we certainly had to change some protocols, and
Yeah.
and we had to use a lot of discretion, and that's a big part of this job we can talk about. But we had to use a lot of discretion. If someone didn't have to go to jail, then they could get a notice to appear, and there was a lot of that going on because we didn't want to bring people to the jail because of this virus and
Sure.
transporting them in the vehicles, and a lot of the calls that we took, if it wasn't necessary for an officer to respond, would do it over the phone.
I see.
Yeah, we did a lot of.
But I mean, if you had to go into a house and everything,
gotta do it.
Because when this thing was, like March and April of last year.
Yeah.
When it was like, this is real.
Oh, yeah.
It's here in Florida and everywhere.
Yeah, we actually had our briefings
Mm-hmm.
outside in the parking lot to socially distance, and yeah, it was a lot of change, and we just went with it. We still have a job to do. You can't just shut down. People still going to have emergencies and crimes committed, and so we had to carry on and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I've had a few sheriffs as clients because I'm an FRS pension
good to
expert.
know.
But Stewart has their own pension?
No,
or-
we're FRS.
I would love to talk and help. I went to Sheriff Mascara's office in Fort Pierce a few times to help them because a lot of officers, instead of the regular pension, they go into the investment
That's
plan.
what I'm in.
And I'm a fiduciary. I manage those investment plans for people.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I definitely want to, help out the officers because
Yeah.
a lot of times you're so busy you don't know what to do, and there's a lot to what you do. I think we have Mr. Speranza on the line. Hey, Mike, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. So what's going on in the PNC world today, my friend?
Not too much. I just wanted to touch on some. I know you guys live in like summer 24/7 down there, but
Absolutely. We love it. And we're going to stick it in your face every time we can get it.
That's right. That's right. But it's that time of the year again. Obviously, I'm assuming even down there, based on being down there, there's much more boating going on when it's really hot out.
Yes.
There's a lot of jet skis getting out in the water and watercrafts getting out in the water. So, now is the time to take a look at those policies, make sure they're up to date, make sure you have the right coverage that you need out there to be boating and having fun. And
So how expensive
not
is it
support-
to have
go ahead.
boating coverage compared to auto and home? Like, is it a lot? I've never heard
how
of it.
much in terms of premium you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I know this is how ignorant I am on that, but you've got to have insurance with a boat in case some guy who runs into you in the water, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful for a couple reasons. One, the liability part, of
Okay.
course, right? If you hit somebody and they sue you because God forbid you killed somebody on the water, you injured somebody. So there's the liability
People don't
part.
drink when they're on boats in the water, do they?
No,
They don't do that,
so
Sergeant Bossio, right?
No.
Have you? How do you sit in front of a judge and say, "Hey, I got a well, what were you driving?" No, actually, I was on my boat, Your Honor.
BUI, sure. No, that's
It's called a
charge.
BUI?
Yeah, it is. Boating
Boat-
under the influence. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really is. You can get arrested for BUI.
So how do you? I mean, it's not like you have a whole bunch of patrol on the water. There's a lot less. So what are the odds that you're going to get pulled over on the boat?
You'd be surprised.
I'll tell
People
you,
running
I'll tell you,
into sandbars
happens more than you
and
think.
accidents and crashes and stuff.
So, Mike, do you have any BOI clients that you've given a special premium with?
I don't. I try and stay away if I have to on that stuff.
You
but,
discriminant person, you. Are you kidding me?
That's
Don't people deserve a second, third, fourth, and fifth chance?
Of course they did. 10 of them. Give them 10. Give them 10 full chances.
I'm sorry. When you call here, you're going to get some smart-ass comments from time to time, right?
I know.
Can I say ass on the air? Did I just break a
twice.
law? I did twice. I'm sorry. I don't
say arse.
Arse? Okay.
Not
Arse. Thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, hey, look, maybe that's the angle in Florida. People with boating insurance is going to get a special rate from Mr. Speranza. What do you think?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we'll do our best. I can't promise any special deals, but we can always do our best. It's always something, again, you just never know over time things change, coverages change, premiums change. So take a look at those. Values of your boat may change. That's another thing rates are based on. What's the value of that watercraft or boat? So, and then not to jump the gun too early, but before you know it, hurricane season will be here. So you got to make sure you're all set on that end.
So the number to call is 855-TFG-AUTO, but that includes
right.
boat. It's tough to compete with ostriches on TV and stuff. I see that commercial all the time. So maybe you should get like an animal and do a commercial. You might get some more interest.
Ostriches and lizards.
They're called emus, right?
Emus, yeah.
Yeah, you know how I know
Okay.
that? Because they were serving ostrich beef jerky on the show today.
I'm still tasting it. Yeah.
And they gave it to Sgt Bossio. He's still burping
I still
it.
taste it. Yeah,
It's
not
pretty
good.
bad.
Yeah.
Mike, always a pleasure, brother. I know we're going to talk next week. Folks, just call 855-TFG-AUTO and see if he can save you some money. Stay warm, my friend, okay?
I will. Thank you.
All right, bye now. Yeah, so that's something else. And so, yes, speaking of pensions with law enforcement, because a lot of people do go to the investment plan because you don't know. What is the life expectancy of a lot of officers?
I don't know what it is now, but I know it's substantially less than other careers in the general public after retirement. What the are expected, how long people live for. Cops typically don't live much longer.
The stress
Compared to the
alone.
rest of society, yeah, because you have that adrenaline, the stress, and even when you're on duty, you're always at a different level, whether you're on a call or not, whether you're writing reports or you're always in a heightened sense of awareness. And I've had days where it's been quiet and you really not many calls and not many proactive stops or anything like that, and you still go home exhausted because
Of course.
you were just mentally on a different level. And
You're never off. Let's face it. You clock out. You're going to the supermarket to buy something.
Still gotta stop.
And somebody's robbing someone or doing something.
Yes.
You have to do
You have
something.
to-
You don't say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I clocked out. Not my problem."
No.
So that alone, 24 hours a day, you are literally on the clock.
You are, yes. Obviously you're not going to be at that same heightened sense that you are when you're on duty on the clock, but yeah, you always are. You're always looking around. Always. It's funny, we go to restaurants and my wife knows I always have to sit with my back to the wall and I just do it.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what. And I'm not in law enforcement.
but-
It's like it's a Northeast thing, right?
Is that what I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, there are some perks too, being law enforcement. I know you're married, but a lot of gals like a guy in uniform.
They do.
Man.
Yes, that's true.
Now
Yes.
it goes both ways
But
too.
but it's funny when
Your partner's gagging. Hey, it goes both ways. I've seen some female officers where, oh my God, I wanted to commit a crime just so they put their hands on me. It's probably not a great way to, meet someone,
Sure.
but it's gotta. Is it against the law to hit on a police officer?
It's not. It's not against the law, no. But I'll tell you this: with these young people getting into the career, they need to be talked to. That sort of thing. Yes, the uniform has a lot of benefits. That's
Sure.
no doubt. But it'll get you in trouble, and you need to separate when you are working. You separate that stuff. You don't entertain it. You don't because.
It's serious business.
It is,
Yeah.
and eventually it's going to end up coming back to your work. Now, if you worked at Walmart or you work at a store and you have a relationship with someone and it goes bad, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, when you're a police officer, it always ends up at the doorstep of your job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Your job gets involved. If you're a banker or you're working... No, it's a personal relationship, and it
But
went
a
bad.
police officer, things
so-
didn't work out. Did you know that this officer was Charles Manson in another life?
Yeah,
Let me tell you about it right now.
So you got to...
And we live in a litigious society.
Of
I
course.
think we talked about it briefly in the break. Are they doing away with the liability issue?
The
or-
qualified immunity in New York. I read yesterday that it passed some sort of vote. I don't think it's finalized yet, but that makes a big difference to law enforcement because if you lose qualified immunity, now believe me, you can sue officers for wrongdoing and civil rights violations and things like that. But the qualified immunity, if an officer is acting in good faith, then they would have immunity from
being sued personally.
From being sued
they
personally.
can still sue the department.
Anybody can sue anybody at any time, but
Right.
but if the
But listen-
municipality claims qualified immunity, then they wouldn't be able to sue us. So if I arrest somebody on a statute that say got taken off the books a week ago, okay, and I arrested them, brought them to jail, they can't sue me because the arrest I didn't intentionally violate their rights by making a false arrest. What I did was I made a mistake, and
Okay.
I still acted in good faith. So if you do away with that, the amount of lawsuits against law enforcement officers, I just would go through the roof.
But I question. It's not like it's not like law enforcement makes a lot of money. What are you going to sue them for?
Yeah, they probably won't go
after their house, or
you could, but what basically they would do is go for the municipality or the county,
Right.
or whoever the agency is that you're working for, because that's obviously.
So if that does happen, then you'll have to be like me. I have liability insurance for millions of dollars, just in case someone. And I tell you something. I document everything with my clients, and
Yeah.
they know this.
Yeah.
And since doing this since 2004, not one customer complained. And I pride myself that, because you're right. People will sue you because the coffee's too hot. It's crazy.
How many times I've made an arrest and I'm going to sue you and I'll see you
Exactly,
in court.
right.
And I give them the same answer every
Right.
time. I said, number one, okay, but if
Yeah.
you win, you're going to be extremely disappointed with what you get because I have nothing. So knock yourself out.
Yeah, you don't go into law enforcement because you're going to make a ton of money.
No.
And that's the other thing that people need to understand, that, like we said, there's good and bad in every profession.
Yes.
It's the minority. First of all, to be in law enforcement, you have to go. Do they still do those like psych exams?
Yes, we have to do a psychological
Do they
exam.
hook you up to the lie
Yes,
detector?
yes, and when I moved to Florida, in Massachusetts, we didn't do lie detectors.
Really?
Yeah, it had no part of it. And when I came down here, they said, you got to go to a lie detector. Why? I'm like, and I was scared to death.
Yeah, you don't know what they're going to ask you.
No, you actually do. They give you,
they do? Okay.
give you a book, and it's yes/no questions about have you ever, and then they have some open-ended
Yeah.
questions, and then the examiner takes the book and goes over that, so you kind of know what they're going to talk about.
Okay.
But here I am, never done this before. I've been in law enforcement for 13 years at this
Sure.
point. So I walk in there and I said to the guy, I don't know why, but I'm nervous as hell. He said, I know, because your sustained heart rate is 155. And he goes, we know. I laid it,
God,
and I laid it
yeah.
all on the table. I mean, there was nothing that this guy didn't know about.
That was another thing that kept me from joining, because, listen, I played in rock bands. I was in some famous bands. Can you imagine the questions they would have asked me? So, have you ever, I don't know, I can't remember. Shit would be blowing up, right?
Here's what we tell people. We don't look for angels. We look for honesty. And
Yes.
no one's an angel. Everybody has their past.
Exactly.
As long as you haven't robbed a bank or committed homicide, or everyone has a past. We look for honesty, not angels, because there are no angels.
Yeah, because you have to look. You can't be Andy Griffith and be an effective law enforcement.
No,
because let's face it, there's a lot of people out there. If they can push the envelope and get over on you,
Of course.
they will.
Yep.
And remember,
absolutely.
I did say, is there a little bit of lying going on when you ask questions?
When
When you pull someone over or just talk to them in general, I mean, because they say, "Hey, never tell a cop anything." And really, I grew up where you had to respect law enforcement, because if I didn't, my old man would have.
Oh, yeah.
He would have taken the belt off of his pants,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
a lot of that is gone now.
It is gone, and a lot of the parents, when we deal with juveniles, believe it or not, the parents get angry with us. Well, why are you hassling
They
my
do?
child over this?
Really?
Oh, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
and not all the time, but it happens, and this is it's totally different. The way things are today from when I started is just night and day. It really is.
Yeah, it has changed a lot in just the last 5 to 10 years,
Sure,
probably, right?
I agree with people should know their rights, and people, officers should respect people's rights. And,
Yes.
and officers should be respectful and do their job properly. I am the biggest advocate for treating people fairly and correctly, and speaking to people like you'd want your family spoken to. I think a lot of times that law enforcement officers, although they have good intentions, they put that badge on and they turn into robots. And, it's all about this. I talk to people. I don't care if they're under arrest. I talked to a guy one time I arrested for a felony and was taking him to jail. I talked about his child's birthday party that he had last weekend.
Oh,
he was
wow.
talking to me about,
Yeah.
what they did, and there's no reason to. I think cops sometimes are our worst enemies. We're our own worst enemies because of the way we treat people. And if we could just treat people like people.
It's just hard, like I said, if every day you're seeing almost like the worst in society. Because look, you're not being called to join a birthday party.
It's
you're being called because somebody's doing something to someone else, and you have to enforce the law.
Yep. And some people don't understand nice.
Yeah.
Like I talking to the gentleman and about the birthday party. Well, some people don't understand nice, and they only understand this is how we're going to, you can't talk to everyone the same way. So the ones you're talking about breaking the law, they need to go to jail, and they're not going to go with the program. Yeah, it's not pretty. Even, a lot of these videos that you see on YouTube and Facebook and all these things that look bad. I mean, it looks bad. A fight looks bad.
Of course it does.
It looks,
it doesn't
it does.
Look great.
It's not pretty. And despite the fact that the officer could have done everything right, and of course they edit the first 20 minutes before the video that shows where they got to this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't look pretty, even if the officer's doing the right thing, trying to take someone into custody. And everyone thinks that we're trained ninjas, that you go to this academy and you come out and you can put anyone in handcuffs at any time.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
True. No, it's not.
It looks
Absolutely
terrible.
not.
As bad as oatmeal smoothies.
Oh,
but,
that was. You have
or
no idea.
ostrich jerky. I'm telling you, when I came in this morning, I said, Sgt Bossio's here. I see the Dunkin' Donuts, but what the heck is all this stuff right here? So I don't know. I think you may be up for an indictment there, Bal, for trying to poison a police officer. I don't know.
Well, at least he didn't. At least
he's still laughing about it.
At
too.
least he didn't give me the kangaroo.
Did he? Was one of them kangaroo?
Yes, one of them was kangaroo. The beef jerky.
No, man.
Yes, it was.
Really? Did anyone eat the kangaroo?
No, we're only doing one a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a blind taste test.
Yeah, I don't do blind taste. I'm sorry. It's kind of like you go to a bar and they go, "Hey, drink this." I go, "What is it?" "Just try it." No, I don't think so. No, I'm not going to try it. I'm not Mikey. This is not a cereal commercial. So it doesn't happen. I think since about 2008, I've been helping a lot because I'm an FRS pension expert. So I've been mentoring students for years. And I was involved with law enforcement because they're assigned to the schools because, my God, you have to worry about sending your kid into a safe school these days because how crazy our society is getting. You know what the answer is? More people need to go to church, my friend. Because if you believe in Jesus Christ and God and you're held to a higher power, you're not going to be a raving lunatic with an assault rifle taking people out. That's the darn truth. I said darn instead of the other. I'm trying to clean up my act here, Evan.
You're all good. You're all good.
Remember, Jesus loves sinners, okay? In all walks of life.
Yes.
So, maybe the thing is because a lot of officers that I know, they're funny people, and maybe you guys need to do more PR. Maybe you should have a band.
You can ask Evan. I mean, we have officers on his show all the time, and it's all about fun. That's what we do. We have a lot of fun.
You got to cut loose because it's serious business.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of attorneys that are kind of questionable, but I've met a lot of great attorneys that are funny. They went into it for the right reason. They didn't go into it like, oh, I want to lie for a living and get paid very well for it.
Right.
No, they went into it because everyone has a right to be defended, including those that have committed crimes. So it's got to be tough because, look, you enforce the law. You can decide whether someone goes to jail or not.
Sure. Well, a lot of times.
A lot of times.
We have discretion, absolutely.
Yes.
And another thing that's that the public doesn't realize is, the body cameras. Body cameras are great, but don't forget, now body cameras limit our discretion.
That's right.
Because, you pull someone over and they seem a little bit tired, and they're on camera, and guess what? We're going to have to do what we have to do if a break was going to be given or the benefit of the doubt. But, the body cameras, if you have drugs on you, well, it's on camera.
It's on camera, right.
You're going to go to jail. Back in the day, the officers that would take a little bit of marijuana off the kid, stomp it into the ground, tell them to get the hell out of here. Well, you're not destroying evidence anymore because, and I'm not saying that's anything wrong with that. That's
Right,
using
yeah.
discretion. It's
Well, it's still not legal, right? I mean,
it's still not legal. Oh, marijuana is a whole nother topic.
It
We
is
could
a
do
whole different
show
topic,
on
right?
that.
Because legally, what you can have up to an ounce, and you
No.
can. No, it's not.
No,
What is the law on
in
it?
Florida, it's illegal.
It totally. If you
Absolutely.
just have 1 gram on you, it's illegal. Doesn't
It is illegal. Yes,
Okay.
that hasn't changed. Nothing's changed.
Okay.
However, medical marijuana, hemp, CBD,
Yes.
all that stuff has been legalized.
Yes.
So what that basically means is everyone, society's thoughts about marijuana have changed. I mean,
Yes, they have.
the
Yes.
majority of people in this country want it legalized. That's a true.
I think the main thing is there's less violence associated. An alcoholic or a drunk
Sure.
is a violent person.
Of course.
I mean, my God, just driving on the streets, 95 in a major, it could be 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm telling you, I bet people have been hitting the sauce.
Yeah,
and they're
well,
hitting the road.
and
They're lunatics. So I think a lot of society says, well, the worst thing that a stoner does is eat too much and go to sleep.
Doritos and watch a movie.
Well, what if they're behind the wheel and go to sleep?
that's true. Well, you can still be DUI.
Yeah.
With under the influence of marijuana. So that's
So there is there's no thing like, oh, you can have up to an ounce and they just write you a ticket.
No. Well, under 20 grams is
Mm-hmm.
a misdemeanor. Over 20 grams in your possession is a felony.
So does the officer have the discretion under 20 grams to arrest them or give them a ticket?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Give them a notice to appear. Give them nothing.
Okay.
But I'll tell you now that, and it's no secret, that these laws are not being enforced like they used to be. State attorneys, I mean, it's marijuana, and everyone knows. You bring a small marijuana charge in front of a jury. How many of those jurors are going to? I mean, the attitudes have changed. I think
they'll say of all the things you could be bothering someone for, you arrested them for a joint.
And I'll tell you,
Yes.
personally, I mean,
Yeah.
I have an obligation to enforce the law. But my personal opinion, I'd rather deal with someone that's high on marijuana than drunk on alcohol or
Right.
high on other illicit
on
drugs.
meth and
Oh yeah,
God,
extremely. So there's pros and cons for everything. I don't have all the answers, but attitudes certainly have changed, and those laws are really not being enforced like they used to. That's for sure.
And it's like you said, though, if you have the body cam, you have no discretion.
Right? It takes away a lot of that.
Your
yeah.
sergeant will go, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you let this person go? They broke a law.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when it comes to law enforcement, it's really there's very few gray areas. It's black and white pretty much. Isn't it?
Well, you'd be surprised. There are a lot of gray areas, and
Yeah.
what I try to do is I look for the greater good. What is the greatest good that'll come out of this situation? And if I don't have to arrest somebody, if you catch a kid with a 6-pack of beer and
Yeah.
he's 18 years old and he's got no criminal record and what's the greatest good here? Well, is taking this kid to jail or giving him a criminal charge, is that the best thing?
Right, yeah.
I try to use discretion. Hey, that 6-pack would look really good in that trash barrel over there. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do it.
I want you to pour it out right now while I'm watching
which
it.
of course secretly breaks my heart as they pour them out. But I can't talk about that. I'm watching it crying inside.
Yeah, you probably had a lot of Boston Lager up there, didn't you?
Sam Adams Lager.
Sam Adams Lager.
It's good stuff.
Do you drink? I don't even know. Do you drink beer? Nothing, right?
No, I'm like one of these kind of people that's like once every 6 months, and it's Kahlua and cream.
Really?
That's
Kahlua
it.
and cream.
Kahlua and
Okay.
cream. It's a wussy drink.
Oh dear Lord,
Sorry.
yes.
Does it?
No.
Get you buzzed?
No.
No?
Nothing. I'm just like, it's that much Kahlua and that much cream. That's it. Just because I like the taste.
I like to drink, but at home, where I
like
don't
the
have to
taste of
deal with
beer.
driving and stuff. Plus, I'm trying to cut weight, so I haven't had a drink since last weekend because it really gets in the way of trying to lose weight. I
It
don't
does.
care.
That's true.
Sugar and everything. When you drink alcohol, your body is now. It turns into acetate, and it's gonna. Oh, that cheeseburger you had? We're gonna store it in your fat because we have to burn the alcohol now.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, man, I don't want to. I guess technically you could have a drink an hour and be okay, right?
Yeah,
But who does that? You go to
Nobody.
a bar and that bartender's hitting you over the head. You want another? You want another? You want another?
Sure.
I'm sitting there, milking my beer, and the person next to me, and believe me, I'm not a hypocrite. I have drank more times in my life than I've needed to.
Sure.
But the simple fact is, you're sitting there and they're doing 2-for-1 specials.
Yeah.
And that person just consumed 4 or 5 drinks in the hour.
Oh yeah. Easy.
You're done.
But yeah, I have no issue with that. I love going out, and I got my spots my wife and I go to, and we have but look at all of the alternatives to driving. There really isn't an excuse these days. Spend the $7 and get an Uber. I mean, how simple.
But a lot of it is like I said, I think I've read research on this, that if you basically have one per hour, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's when you start, your friends go, hey, let's all do shots. And all of a sudden, in 15 minutes, you've had 5 or 6 drinks.
Oh, yeah, sure. And you metabolize one 12-ounce drink, one shot, or one glass of wine per hour.
Per hour, right.
Yes.
And that typically would be okay. Yeah. And it also depends. I mean, if you're a 5'2", 105-pound female, that might be too much.
Yeah, it varies per person.
If you're
absolutely.
a big weightlifting red meat eater like me, it's not going to do much.
Right. Yep.
So it all, and it's tough, man, because what happens is everyone is doing it and they think it's normal, and then it's time to drive home. Yep. So what do? Call the Uber.
Just get an Uber.
Folks,
Simple.
Call the Uber. That $10 is a lot cheaper than $10,000.
Oh yeah.
And DUIs, they stay for all your life, don't they?
They are. The DUIs are. It's just so avoidable. That's the only thing I can say about them is these days, so avoidable. And the amount of the attorney fees and the bond to get out of jail and getting your license back, and it just. How much your life is inconvenienced by losing your license. It just goes on and on. It's just so easy. Just get on the Uber app and
it's so
simple.
tough. Like I said, I really am pro law enforcement. I think they get a bad rap in some communities. But like you said, Stewart, Martin County, hey, people are not burning buildings and stuff protesting here. We have a great governor in Ron DeSantis.
Yep.
And I think for the most part, Florida, we have our affairs in order. I mean, people pretty much respect law enforcement, and I like it that way.
It was funny because I was at the doing some recruiting at the police academy down in Palm Beach, and they have an equivalency of training class, which means if you're a law enforcement officer from another state, you take this 2-week-long class so you can get certified in Florida. So I went down, I spoke to the class, and just how many people here from New York? And I'll tell you, 90% of the class raised their hand. They're like, we need to, they wanted to move to a state, not only for the weather, but where they can get back into a profession that they feel appreciated.
Right.
And they weren't feeling that up north. So
yeah, I mean, if you're in Miami, forget it. All bets are off. You might as well be in New York.
Yeah.
Or some of the, and I got to tell you, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what a big difference if you're in a small town as opposed to a city like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you better be thick-skinned.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because, again, I can tell you personally, I'm pretty thick-skinned, but I'll take only so many insults to my face.
Yep. No, you need to have thick skin. You need to just understand that they're talking to the uniform and not to you personally.
Right.
And just and do the best you can and be as professional as possible. But yeah, a lot of
are there a shortage of law enforcement now? I mean, is there a shortage?
Yeah, we're having difficulty filling spots. Yeah, and that's a national. I mean,
it is national.
I mean,
not just
realistically, who wants to be a police officer these days? And it's sad. I remember the civil service exam in Massachusetts. Literally, I tried to become a Massachusetts state trooper. Very difficult job to get. Mm-hmm. Took the exam with 60,000 people for a possible 200 openings.
Wow.
Didn't get the job, but now I guess they're just dying for people. That's just this entire profession is really struggling because it's just not who wants to get into this. And
well, listen, I appreciate what you do, and I really do, because believe me, most people shouldn't fear law enforcement. They should fear me if they're going to do something to me. So. We need it. There's no such thing as my mom is an 80-year-old in Port St. Lucie, and I'm going to see her later on. And if you do something to my mom, you better hope the police get you first before
dealing with you.
Yeah, because without law and order, what do we have? Anarchy, chaos. Everyone's packing a gun, and it's like the OK Corral.
They talk about defunding the police and all these things. Well,
insanity.
Who are you calling? When
who are you going to call?
I forget what I do for work. This is Brian speaking.
Exactly right.
What the hell are you going to do when someone's kicking your door at 2 a.m.?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, listen, I've enjoyed having you here. I want to visit of your department and
Yes.
talk to the officers about retirement planning.
Absolutely.
I'd like you to come back on the show.
I'd love to.
Thank you so much. And folks, make it a great day. Be happy to be alive and do something fun today. So we'll talk to you next week with Today with Denny. Thanks.